close your eyes and let the modern world dissolve. Imagine you are standing on the Giza Plateau in the absolute dead of night. The year is not 2026, but a time so distant it feels like a fragment of a dream. The moon hangs like a silver blade in a sky filled with more stars than you have ever seen, ancient fires watching over the silent desert. Before you, rising out of the absolute dark like a mountain built by the hands of the gods themselves, stands the Great Pyramid of Giza. It is the silent watcher. For over 4,500 years, it has stood exactly here, unmoving, while empires have been born, flourished, and crumbled back into the shifting sands. It has seen the rise and fall of Rome, the birth of modern science, and the entire span of our industrial age. It is the last remaining wonder of the ancient world, but tonight, it feels like something more. It feels like a visitor from another reality entirely. Tonight, we do not come as tourists. We come as seekers. We come to listen to the stone. As the cool desert breeze brushes against your skin, feel the weight of history settle over you. Why does this structure exist? Why did a civilization thousands of years ago feel the need to move mountains of stone into this perfect, terrifying shape? Was it merely a tomb, or a message left in the sand, a mathematical proof, a stone computer, a gateway to the stars? Tonight, we begin a journey that transcends the boundaries of time. We will peel back the layers of sand and myth to explore the sheer, mind-bending scale of this monument. We will look into its impossible engineering, its cosmic alignments, and the hidden chambers that still hold their secrets tight against the modern world. Relax your body. Let your mind drift into the long shadows of the plateau. We are entering the heart of the stone. We are moving toward the center of the greatest mystery ever carved by human hands. To truly grasp the Great Pyramid, you must first surrender your sense of what is possible. You must abandon the arrogance of the modern age, which tells us that we are the pinnacle of human achievement. Stand at the base of the structure and look up. Your eyes cannot even find the top in the darkness, it simply disappears into the stars. Now, think about the very first step of its construction, the foundation. Before a single stone was laid, the builders had to find a way to level 13 acres of the Giza Plateau. This is not a small task. Imagine trying to make 13 acres of rugged limestone as flat as a sheet of glass using only the tools of the ancient world. Some believe they used water, building a system of trenches to create a perfect level. Whatever the method, the result is chillingly perfect. The entire base of the Great Pyramid is leveled to within a fraction of an inch across its entire expanse. Even today, with our lasers and digital levels, achieving such precision on this scale would be a monumental challenge. But the precision does not stop at the level of the ground. Consider the orientation. The Great Pyramid is aligned to true north with an accuracy of within 3/60ths of a degree. This is not magnetic north, which shifts over time, but true, celestial north. To achieve this, the builders had to be master astronomers. They had to track the movements of the stars over years, perhaps decades, to find the exact, unmoving point of the sky. Why did they care so much about this alignment? Why was it so vital that this 6 million-ton structure be perfectly synchronized with the rotation of the Earth? It tells us that the pyramid was not just built on the Earth, but was built in direct relation to the Earth itself. Now, let your mind focus on the stones themselves. There are approximately 2.3 million blocks of limestone and granite in this single structure. Think of one block. It is cold, heavy, and rough against your hand. Now, imagine 2.3 million of them. If you were to take these stones and cut them into smaller pieces, you could build a wall 3 feet high around the entire borders of France. Some of these stones are small, but many weigh as much as 80 tons. Imagine 80 tons of solid rock. That is the weight of a luxury locomotive. The builders lifted these massive blocks nearly 200 feet into the air and placed them with millimeter precision. They were transported from quarries hundreds of miles away, sailed down the Nile, and then dragged across the sand. And once they arrived, they were fitted together so tightly that even today, you cannot slip a human hair or a razor blade between them. There is no mortar. There is only the perfect fit of stone against stone. The pyramid encodes the very laws of the universe. If you take the perimeter of the base and divide it by twice its height, the result is pi 3.14. This ratio is found in the geometry of a circle, yet the pyramid is a square. It is as if the builders were squaring the circle, manifesting a complex mathematical truth into a physical form that would last forever. They also encoded the golden ratio into its chambers. They knew the dimensions of the Earth. If you multiply the height of the pyramid by 43,200, you get the polar radius of the Earth. If you multiply the perimeter of the base by the same number, you get the Earth's equatorial circumference. Was this a coincidence? How could a civilization know the exact dimensions of the planet they inhabited? Perhaps they didn't see themselves as separate from the Earth. Perhaps the pyramid was designed as a scale model of the Northern Hemisphere, a stone heartbeat that resonated with the planet itself. Think of the men who worked here. In the silence of the night, you can almost hear the ghost of their footsteps. Tens of thousands of workers, not slaves, but dedicated craftsmen, bakers, and architects. They spent their lives in the service of this stone mountain. They saw it grow, layer by layer, year after year, until it touched the sky. They were part of something that they knew would outlast their children and the very gods they worshipped. They moved mountains, not through brute force alone, but through a mastery of physics and a harmony with the natural world that we have long since lost. Let the magnitude of this achievement settle into your bones. You are looking at a masterclass in geophysics, a library of mathematics, and a monument to a lost science. Let your breathing slow. Let the darkness of the plateau carry you deeper into the mystery. We are only at the beginning of our journey. The stones have much more to tell us before the dawn breaks.
Imagine the air shifting the very moment you cross the threshold. We are leaving the silver moon and the whispering desert winds of the Giza Plateau behind. We are stepping into the narrow, dark entrance on the northern face, a portal that has remained a gateway to the unknown for over 4 millennia. As you move inside, the atmosphere changes instantly. It is no longer the fresh, thin air of the night. It is thick, heavy, and perfectly still. It carries the faint, ancient scent of dust that has been trapped in absolute darkness since the dawn of human civilization. The silence here is a physical weight. It is a silence that doesn't just surround you, but seems to vibrate within your very bones, as if the 6 million tons of limestone above are breathing in unison with your own heartbeat. As we descend deeper into the heart of the stone, the passage begins to tighten. This is the descending passage, a long, sloping tunnel that leads into the bedrock itself. You must crouch low, your shoulders nearly brushing the cold, perfectly smooth walls. There is no natural light here. Only the flickering glow of a single flame, casting long, dancing shadows that stretch and twist across the ceiling. Your breathing echoes back at you, loud and rhythmic against the ancient stone. You start to realize that this path was never built for the living. It was not designed for comfort or ease of movement. Every inch of this stone was placed with a terrifying, mathematical precision. As you move, you feel the crushing weight of the entire structure pressing down, held back only by the genius of architects who have been dead for 45 centuries. Suddenly, the narrow, stifling tunnel opens up into a space that defies all logic and human belief, the Grand Gallery. Imagine a massive, soaring hall, nearly 50 meters long and 9 meters high, rising at a steep, impossible angle into the blackness. The walls are not flat, they are composed of enormous, polished blocks of limestone, each one overlapping the one below it in a perfect, corbelled arch. The craftsmanship is so precise that even today, you cannot slip a thin blade between the joints. This is not the architecture of a tomb. This is a cathedral of stone, a masterpiece of structural engineering that hums with a strange, resonant energy. In the absolute quiet, the gallery acts like a massive acoustic chamber, amplifying every sound until the very air seems to thrum with a forgotten power. Why build such a magnificent, empty void deep within a solid mountain of rock? What was the intended function of this soaring, hollow space? At the top of the gallery lies a final, narrow threshold. To enter the heart of the heart, you must crawl once more, passing beneath the massive granite slabs that once served as a sophisticated locking mechanism. And then, finally, you emerge into the king's chamber. Imagine a perfectly rectangular room, made entirely of deep red granite. These stones were not found here, they were brought from the distant quarries of Aswan, hundreds of miles to the south, sailed down the Nile on massive barges that would challenge modern logistics. The walls are composed of blocks so perfectly fitted that they look like a single, solid piece of the Earth's crust. But look closer. There are no hieroglyphs here. No colorful paintings of gods or pharaohs. No gold, no furniture, no offerings for the afterlife. This room is utterly, defiantly empty. Except for one thing. In the center of the chamber sits a single, empty granite box, the sarcophagus. It is carved from a single, massive block of red granite. It is rough in some places, yet its interior dimensions follow a perfect mathematical ratio. If you were to strike this box with your hand, it would ring like a deep, bronze bell, filling the chamber with a frequency that resonates with the very walls. Is this truly a grave? If so, where is the lid? Where are the marks of a royal burial? As you stand in the absolute, lightless center of this mass, located at the exact center of the pyramid's mass, you begin to feel that you are not in a tomb. You are standing inside a machine. A machine made of stone, designed to harness the laws of vibration and the energy of the earth itself. Look up at the walls. You will see two small, square openings. These are the air shafts, but they are not for air. They point directly toward the stars, one to the northern pole star of the ancient world, Thuban, and the other to the stars of Orion's belt. It is a cosmic bridge meant to connect the earth to the infinite heavens. Even now, in the silence of the night, you can feel the alignment. The pyramid is not just a building on the ground, it is an astronomical instrument, synchronized with the movement of the universe. How is it done? How did they lift the 9 massive granite slabs that form the ceiling of this room? Each one weighs 80 tons, the weight of a modern locomotive. To lift such mass nearly 200 feet into the air and place them with millimeter precision is a feat that would challenge our most powerful cranes. Yet, they did it. Above us, they engineered 5 relieving chambers to protect this room from the millions of tons of stone above. This is a mastery of physics that we are only beginning to reimagine. In the dark, quiet corners of this chamber, if you listen closely enough, you can almost hear the hum of a technology that left no trace but the stone itself. The stones have much more to tell us, and the night is still young. We remain suspended in the deep, resonant silence of the king's chamber, but our journey is far from over. While the history books suggest we have mapped every inch of this stone mountain, the reality is far more mysterious. In the year 2017, using advanced particle physics and cosmic ray muon radiography, a team of international scientists looked through the solid stone and discovered something that shook the foundation of archaeology: a massive, previously unknown void. It is a hidden space, at least 30 meters long, floating silently above the Grand Gallery. It has no known entrance and has been sealed since the day the pyramid was finished. What is the purpose of this big void? Is it another grand hall, a secret archive of knowledge, or a vital structural component of a machine we do not yet understand? The deeper we look, the more we realize that the Great Pyramid is hiding its greatest secrets in plain sight, waiting for a generation with the eyes to see them. But let us return to the nature of the stone itself. As you stand in the absolute darkness, consider the possibility that the pyramid was never meant to be a silent tomb. Modern researchers have discovered that the Great Pyramid is a masterclass in acoustics. The limestone and granite blocks were not just placed for their strength, but for their ability to resonate. When scientists played specific frequencies inside the king's chamber, they found that the room acts like a massive amplifier, concentrating sound energy with startling efficiency. It is a resonant cavity. Some believe the entire structure was designed to vibrate at the frequency of the Earth itself. Imagine the pyramid not as a static building, but as a living instrument, a stone resonator that could harness sound to alter consciousness, or perhaps even to produce energy. This brings us to the most haunting question of all: how are these stones shaped with such terrifying precision? Look closely at the red granite of the sarcophagus. On its surface, there are circular grooves and deep, rhythmic marks that resemble the work of a modern high-speed drill. But we are told the ancient builders had only copper saws and stone hammers. Copper is a soft metal. It cannot cut through granite, one of the hardest substances on Earth. To achieve the rate of penetration seen in these stones, the tools would have required immense pressure and a hardness that defies the known archaeological record. Was there a lost technology? Some suggest the use of sonic drilling, vibrating the stone until it becomes as soft as clay, allowing it to be shaped with ease. Others speak of a mastery of light or heat that we have long forgotten. The marks in the stone are the fingerprints of a science that does not fit into our timeline of human progress. The logistics of Giza are equally mind-bending. To complete the Great Pyramid in 20 years, the builders had to place one massive stone block every 2 minutes, 24 hours a day, for 2 decades. This implies an industrial organization that exceeds almost anything in human history. It was a factory of the gods. Millions of tons of material were quarried, transported, and fitted with the accuracy of a Swiss watch. If we cannot replicate this feat today with our most advanced computers and cranes, perhaps we should stop asking how they did it with primitive tools, and start asking if they were primitive at all. As the desert night continues its slow rotation above us, we begin to see the Great Pyramid for what it truly is, a bridge. It is a bridge between mathematics and spirit, between the vibration of the earth and the silence of the stars. It is a challenge to our modern ego, a monument that reminds us that there were giants of intellect and spirit long before us. We have explored the interior, and we have touched the marks of lost tools. In our final chapter, we will look up to the stars once more, as the pyramid reveals its ultimate purpose. Stay in the silence. The mystery is breathing with you. As the desert night reaches its deepest, most silent hour, we find ourselves standing once again upon the cold sands of the Giza Plateau. The air has grown thin and sharp, carrying with it the ancient stillness of the Saharan night. We have explored the massive exterior, we have crawled through the suffocating darkness of the ascending passages, and we have stood in the resonant heart of the king's chamber. But now, it is time to look upward. The Great Pyramid is not merely a mountain of stone sitting in isolation, it is a vital part of a celestial mirror, a terrestrial reflection of the infinite heavens that burn above us. Consider the three Great Pyramids of Giza. If you were to look down upon them from the stars, you would notice something profound. Their layout is not a random cluster. In the 1990s, a startling realization emerged. These three monuments are placed in a near-perfect mirror image of the three stars that form Orion's belt. The two larger pyramids represent the primary stars, while the smaller pyramid of Menkaure is slightly offset, exactly as the third star in the belt of the hunter is offset in the sky. As above, so below. The builders were not just looking at the ground beneath their feet, they were mapping the very fabric of the cosmos into the earth itself. They were turning the desert into a sacred clock, a stone gateway that anchors the shifting stars to the solid, unmoving reality of our world. But why did they choose Orion? To the ancient mind, Orion was not just a constellation. It was the celestial home of Osiris, the god of rebirth and the afterlife. The narrow shafts we discovered deep within the king's chamber were never intended for air, they were built as stone telescopes, pointing with terrifying accuracy toward these specific stars. They acted as a direct conduit, a cosmic highway for the soul to travel from the physical world into the infinite reaches of the stars. Imagine a focused beam of intention, traveling through the mass of the pyramid, exiting into the night sky, and finding its target in the heart of Orion. There is a deeper, more daunting layer to this cosmic connection. The Earth itself is not static, it undergoes a slow, rhythmic wobble known as the precession of the equinoxes. This movement is so slow that it takes 25,920 years for the stars to complete one full cycle and return to their original positions. Most civilizations do not live long enough to notice this movement. Yet, the Great Pyramid seems to encode this exact cycle in its very dimensions. It is a library of stone, built to survive the long, slow turning of the earth. It was designed to track the great cycles of time, cycles that govern the rise and fall of entire ages of man. It is a monument that reminds us that we are part of a story much larger than our own lifetimes. What was the ultimate purpose of this impossible achievement? Why did they invest so much labor, so much genius, and so much time into a structure that seems to defy the very limits of human capability? Perhaps the Great Pyramid was a message sent across the vast ocean of time, a message meant specifically for us. It tells us that we were once giants of spirit and intellect. It reminds us that there is a profound, forgotten harmony between human consciousness, the geometry of the earth, and the rotation of the stars. It is a lighthouse of lost knowledge, a silent witness to a golden age when humanity understood the secrets of vibration, the power of sound, and the eternal laws of the universe. The pyramid does not demand that we find every answer tonight. It does not ask us to solve its riddles in a single hour. It only asks that we remember. It asks that we remember who we are and what we are truly capable of when we align our will with the rhythms of the cosmos. As you listen to these words, let the magnitude of this mystery settle deep within you. Let the heavy weight of the stone provide a sense of security, a sense of grounding. You are safe here, in the shadow of the mountain. Now, as the night deepens further, let the weight of these mysteries carry you gently toward the edge of sleep. The cool air of the Giza Plateau is soft against your skin, like a silken veil. The wind continues to shift the sands, a rhythmic sound like a soft breath, covering and uncovering the secrets of the past as it has done for thousands of years. The stars continue their slow, ancient rotation above the silent watcher. You are a vital part of this cycle. You are a part of the history of this world. Everything is steady. Everything is exactly as it should be. The darkness of the stone is not a void, it is a sanctuary of peace, a place where time stands still. Feel your breathing become slow and deep, synchronized with the quiet, hollow pulse of the desert wind. In and out. Slow and steady. The Great Pyramid remains, as it always has, a silent guardian over the mysteries of time. It will be there when the sun rises over the horizon, and it will be there when the world changes once again. But for now, the night belongs to you. Let the whispers of the limestone fade into the silence of your mind. Let the long shadows of the plateau embrace you. Trust in the silence. Trust in the stone. Stay in the shadow of the mountain, and let the mystery breathe with you. Sleep now, while the desert watches. Sleep, while the stars guard the path home. Sleep. Sleep.